Want to call the meeting to order, the Marin County LAFCo Formation Commission for August 13th. The time is 6:30. I want to remind the public that they have access to this meeting through hybrid methods, mainly Zoom, and they can participate in the meeting by making comments through Zoom and or in the room. And those instructions are on our agenda. So I'm going to move to the first item, which is the call to order. I've done that. Welcome Supervisor Lucan. So we're going to do a roll call now.
Chair Rodoni,
Present.
Vice Chair Chu,
Here.
Commissioner Kohler,
Here.
Commissioner Caius, Commissioner Lucan,
Here.
Commissioner Murray,
Here.
Commissioner Bordeaux, Alternate Commissioner Hilliard, Alternate Commissioner Farrak,
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Smith,
Here.
and Alternate Commissioner Moulton Peters. We have met a quorum.
Thank you. We have a quorum and we can do business. Remind everyone to turn on your mic when you're speaking so it gets recorded. The next item is to look at the agenda for review. Does anyone have any concerns about the agenda order? Have any suggestions? Okay, seeing none, we'll leave the agenda as set. The next item is public open time. This is an opportunity for people to address the commission on matters not on the agenda. And you can do this up to 2 minutes. So anyone in the audience wish to address the commission tonight? I know you're here for a specific item, so we'll get to yours next. Anyone online?
No hands raised.
Very good. We're going to now move to the next item, which is a consent calendar item. Items can be taken off the consent calendar at the wish of any commissioner and or the chair. We will take comments on the consent calendar at once and then look at the consent calendar for items to be removed. Any public comment on the consent calendar? Any public comment online? Any commissioners want to remove anything from the consent calendar? Yes.
I don't want to remove anything. I just had sent an edit on the minutes to Claire.
Very good. Any other comments or amendments to the minute? Yes.
Just on item 2 real briefly, there's some quite a bit of journal entries. You just describe what's there. Otherwise, I'm fine with it.
Could you be more specific?
So if you go to page 12 and 13 in the board packet, on the top of page 12, there's 6 journal entries under payroll tax and 2 under vision. And then it looks like another 6 on page 13 for County Marin Group Health. Just
I would have to double check with Elisa on that, but my best guess is that is the closeout of our former executive officers' compensated absences and
Okay.
things along that.
You're probably right. I do see his name
Yeah.
on one of them. Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else?
I'll move the consent calendar with the one edit to the minutes.
Thank you. We have a motion. and a
Second.
Thank you. A second by Commissioner Murray, moved by Commissioner Kohler. We can do a roll, we don't need to do a roll call, please, right? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? One abstention, Commissioner Helliger. Thank you. The next item is the public hearing on approval of the resolution 26-07, annexation of 450 Atherton Avenue, Novato Fire into Novato Sanitary District with waiver of notice, hearing and protest proceedings, finding exempt from CEQA pursuant to the state CEQA guidelines, section 15319. So I'm going to open up the public hearing and ask staff to make their presentation.
So this is a relatively straightforward application that we received from the Novato Fire Protection District to annex into the Novato Sanitary District. They are unincorporated and it's multiple parcels. Everyone is in support, except we received one letter from the city of Novato, which I did refer to in the staff memo. They had some concerns over CEQA and any potential development in the area. to which we then held a meeting with Novato Sanitary District, Novato Fire Protection District, and wrote back to them answering all their questions and concerns.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Let's go questions first from commissioners on this item. Just go ahead, Commissioner.
So, thank you, Claire. I appreciate the back and forth with the city. Very nice to see the correspondence and as they requested, having our board packet. Our LAFCo letter talked about the sewer line extending along Atherton Olive, being treated similar to a private lateral. Are you feeling that Novato Sanitary is feeling the same way, or is that their definition, or?
Yes, in the meeting that we held with both Novato Fire and the Sanitary District, that was the general consensus that Novato Fire has no interest in being in the sewer maintenance industry, and that they're in charge of their own lateral that they're connecting into just outside the
So
city of
similar to
Novato.
out of service arrangement with a private lateral?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Maybe we can hear from the applicant if you wanted to say anything tonight yet. You don't need to, but if you have anything to add, and you can come up to the mic if you do. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Just push that
Press
button.
that button.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my name's Mike Tall. I'm the Deputy Chief of Novato Fire Department. And this is Colleen. She runs our contract department. We're just grateful to have this on the agenda. It addresses our sewer issue at the station because our septic system is failing. So that is the reason for this lateral that will tie in down Olive Avenue. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Just go back to staff. Anything follow up? Anything you want to add?
That's all.
Okay. So I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back to our commission for comments and or a motion.
I'll move to approve Resolution 26-07, annexation of 450 Atherton Avenue, 143-350, 44, 45, 46, 47, Novato into the Novato Sanitary District with waiver of notice, hearing, protest proceedings, and finding exempt from CEQA pursuant to state CEQA guidelines, section 15319.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Kohler, a second by Commissioner Liquid. Could you make sure the resolution has Novato Fire listed? Because this hearing notice says Novato only, just to make sure we have identified it correctly. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, that motion passes. Congratulations. Go for it. Thank you. So now we're going to move into closed session. We have a couple items to deal with related to labor negotiations with a designated employee. I want to give an opportunity for anyone to make public comment on this before we go into closed session. Anyone in the room? Anyone online? Don't believe so. Claire, are you seeing anyone?
There is one online, but she's not raising her hand at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to ask staff to leave the room and our attorney.
Recording stopped.
Remain. Thank you. So we're returning from closed session. We have no announcements. So we're going to move to item 4 under business items, consideration and approval of the interim executive officer employment agreement. Mala, do you want to
Yes.
lead us through this?
Thank you, Chair Rodoni. What is before you is an interim executive officer employment agreement. Based off of the closed session discussion, we are recommending that you appoint Jaren Batchelder-Seidel as your interim executive officer. Since July 1, 2026, the position of executive officer has been vacant. He has been serving as acting executive officer since that time. We're recommending the agreement be retroactive to July 1, 2026, with a compensation and salary of $172,000. I would ask for a teeny bit of flexibility. In the past, as you are aware, we've had to divide the compensation by how many pay periods. And so the number might need to be slightly adjusted. So we would like that flexibility to make that adjustment, and the term of the agreement would expire on February 28th, 2027, with either party being able to terminate earlier should they so desire. I'm happy to answer any other questions you have.
Thank you. Questions from commissioners? Okay. Any public comment on this item? See no one in our audience? Anyone online? All right, going to bring it back to the commission. Someone waiting or someone? We're on item 4, which is consideration and approval of interim executive director officer's employment. If that person online would like to speak to that item, they raise their hand, please, and get noticed.
Good afternoon. This is Joe Serrano. Can you hear me?
Hi, Joe. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, again, this is Joe Serrano, the Executive Officer for Santa Cruz LAFCo, and I just want to give kudos to this board as well as your staff for considering Mr. Jaron. I've known him for quite some time now, and I think he's like the perfect person for this position. Some of you may know me. I'm a huge advocate of analysts moving up to the EO position, not because they're next in line, but he's just an expert on Marin LAFCo. He has built relationships and he just has the expertise. And so I'm just grateful for the commission considering Mr. Jaron. He definitely gets the Joe Serrano seal of approval, whatever that's worth. But I just wanted to really tell the commission that I have a lot of faith in Mr. Jaron, and I'm rooting for him. And he's a great. This is the right time for him to lead you to the next chapter for Marin LAFCo. So that's all I had to share. Nothing but good things to say to Mr. Jaron.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else? All right. Going to bring it back to the commission for a motion.
I move to authorize Chair Rendoni to execute the interim executive officer employment agreement.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. We approve the interim executive officer's employment agreement, or I have the authority to do that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone oppose? Anyone abstain? Thank you. Congratulations.
I just want to say thank you, Jaron and Claire. It's been a joy to work with. So looking forward to the new A team.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to the commission. I've received a lot of support over the last month from multiple commissioners, and I'm excited for the possibilities going forward and the opportunity for growth for both myself and Claire. So thank you guys.
Great. Thank you. So we're going to move to item 5, which is consideration and approval of amendment to the personnel handbook to add a provision for acting appointments of existing commission employees. In this process, we realized we didn't have anything in our personnel handbook which allowed us to award people working out of their class, basically. And so we're recommending, and Mala, I'll turn it over to you to add anything that the 5% clause be added to our personnel handbook for exceptional service beyond the normal duty of that employee. Marla, do you want to take it from there?
Yes, thank you, Chair Rodoni. Yes, you're correct. We realized we did not have anything in our personnel policies when people step in and fill in for at least 2 consecutive weeks. This is not an unusual process. It happens when people take extended vacations, even leave, or in this case, vacancy. So we wanted to add this language to compensate appropriately individuals. This would not apply to the executive officer. And so I want to point out that Commissioner Kohler did raise a question and wanted to see additional language added. And I think we have a slide that we can show you.
Thank you.
And we could add that last sentence, which says if the executive officer has vacated the position by majority vote, the commission may temporarily assign extra and/or different duties or assign interim status, to make it clear that that's a separate category as opposed to this extra pay, which would apply to the other employees.
Mhm. Okay,
Thank you for coming up with that. My worry was because Jason exited so quickly that we needed to have the ability for the commission
Mhm.
to step in where needed. So thank you so much for going through that.
question, Marla, in that statement. Is interim a conflict because we do a contract that's interim? Should that be acting position?
Acting is typically, it was intended to be interim and,
Okay.
yeah, it was intended to be interim and we could do a contract here, but I think it, acting also happens. For instance, when Jason was here and he was executive officer and he would go on vacation, he would make Jaren his acting executive officer. So that's typically what happens. But interim is a position that the commission actually appoints
Very
to,
good.
to clarify that distinction.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. Questions from commissioners? No. Thank you.
I'm, again, my business background does not include employees. So, but I was kind of curious at the 2 week starting point for this. It would seem to me that, first of all, if you have a chance to move into a higher position, and it's an opportunity, not something you necessarily get that you would look forward to, pay or no. But 2 weeks is awfully short. It would seem like the trigger would be 3, 4, or 6 weeks even, from where from my personal experience on something like this. But so I was just curious where the 2 weeks comes from.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I think with public sector, 2 weeks is pretty traditional.
any other questions? Okay. So we're looking for a motion to approve the amendment to the personnel. We're going to do public comment now. Anyone online?
There's no one on Zoom.
I'm happy to make a motion, but I do want to say that the Personnel and Policy Committee met on the 28th, and I realize this was a last minute thought, but it would have been good to include that in our meeting if possible. So in the future, as these things come up, to the extent that we can have personnel and policy go over these things, because sometimes we can think of more things. So that would be great. But I'd like to make a motion to go forward. Of course, my screen just went blank. I'd like to make a motion to approve the addition of the new section to the personnel handbook
Thank you.
with the edits that were shown tonight.
Thank you. We have a second?
She can't second, she's an alternate.
Second.
She's an alternate.
No,
But the,
we have one here.
Mr. Caius is in.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You did get in first though, so.
Yeah, that's
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the amendment to the personnel handbook. All those in favor say aye.
I.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? All right, thank you so much. We're going to move on now to consideration and adoption of the Marin County Fire Services Special Study. I'm going to turn that over to staff.
This will be a short and sweet presentation. There has been no considerable changes since the last draft. We received no additional public comment since the last meeting. We did receive some clerical and ministerial updates from Commissioner Kohler that we have made and adopted into this. Outside of that, there is not much changes, and so if there's any questions for me that anyone has, I'm happy to take those.
Thank you, Claire. Any additional questions, comments about the fire study? Go ahead.
As a member of the fire district, it was an excellent study. I think things are moving underneath all of this that will possibly bring it to a head sooner than what's projected here. But the study itself was really excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Barbara?
I just want to add that I said this at the last meeting, but I had met with John Bagala, the president of Marin Professional Firefighters Union, and he had read it and said it was excellent. So that's great. And when we get the final, if you could send me a copy, because I want to share it with fire folks. They're really interested in it, and it'd be nice for them to have their own copy. So thank you.
Thank you.
Interject for just 1 second. I also just want to take a second and give huge kudos to Claire. I mean, this was her first foray into this type of thing, and I think it's pretty consensus here that she definitely knocked it out of the park. So kudos to her for taking this on.
Terrific. Well done, Claire. Thank you. All right, we're looking for a motion to adopt the public comment, please. Thank you. Anyone in the room? No one online? Thank you.
I'll make a
Now we're
motion
going to adopt the fire.
to have the commission formally adopt the Marin County Fire Services Special Study as finalized with the few changes you just made, following incorporation of comments received during the public review period as documenting the accompanying track change matrix.
And I second it as a fire district rep.
You need to be on the mic because it's being recorded.
I am.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Any second, go ahead.
Okay, I second that motion.
Very good. So we have a motion by Kohler, a second by Hilliard to approve the Marin County Fire Special Studies. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Abstain? Congratulations, that passes. Well done again, Claire. Item 6 is update and discussion on Cal LAFCO related matters. And I want to start with C because it relates to all the other items. And Jaren's going to give us an update. I think you all got a copy of a letter from the Cal LAFCO governing board. So Jaren's going to talk about that.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So this past Friday, the Cal LAFCO board meeting occurred, and as you can all recall, following our June meeting, the commission decided to submit a letter to the board requesting their consideration of splitting our annual dues into 2 separate payments in order for us to remain a part of Cal LAFCO while still being able to monitor forward progress on the items we've expressed as important to us. The board did consider the item at the meeting, but ultimately voted not to approve the request. A letter from Cal LAFCO regarding the decision is in your packet. As a reminder, in order to remain a member in good standing, membership dues must be remitted by September 1st. So staff will require a decision by the commission this evening on whether or not to submit that payment and continue membership for the next year. And then as a following reminder, the total dues are approximately $5,700.
Thank you. Any specific questions to Jaren about the letter or about this activity? It seems like to me tonight, the first decision we have to make is, do we pay the dues or do we not pay the dues? Because that's related to everything else. Although maybe the question I have is, can you attend the Cal LAFCO conference if you're not a member? And is that a different fee?
Yes, you can. It'll just be a higher fee.
Okay, thank you. So any comments on the letter? Any suggestions about how to move forward?
I guess last time we did talk about this, thank you, is it just seems to me like we said we should submit a letter asking if we could pay dues in installments, but we did talk about just staying in another year and see if we can get closer to where we want to be. And I don't think $5,700 is a huge amount of money. And if we have to pay higher fees to go to the Cal LAFCO conference, obviously it's not going to be the same, but it just seems to me like it's worth it to try to stay in. And now with Jaren acting as our interim EO, maybe he'll have even more influence on the Cal LAFCO board.
Thank you. Craig, you're pretty involved in this, so.
I've seen Jaren on the statewide level, like on Ledge Committee, and I agree. I think Jaren would be a good rep for Marin, and I think at this point it would not be beneficial for Marin LAFCO to pull out. So my vote is consistent from last meeting to continue and pay the dues.
Okay. Anyone else have an opinion on this? Any public comment on this from online? None in the room? So I've sort of heard that we should stay in and pay the dues for another year. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Kohler, second by Murray. All those in favor of going to
Aye.
continue the
Aye.
LAFCO dues?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Sorry, I'm out of sync here. Anyone abstain? That motion carries a little oddly and roughly, but it did carry. All right. So now we're going to go back to A and talk about the conference and
Yep.
voting authority.
So yeah, Cal LAFCo is holding their annual conference this year from October 21st through the 23rd in beautiful downtown Sacramento. And as happens at the conference every year, the elections for the Cal LAFCo Board of Directors will be held at this time. This year's election, however, will be the implementation of the updated board structure that the membership approved back in February of this year, as well as the transition to staggered board terms. As a reminder, this updated structure will remove seat type distinctions such as city member, public member, and so forth, and executive officers are now eligible to serve as board members if elected. Because this is the start of staggering the seat terms, any candidate running this year must establish whether they are running for a 1-year term seat or a 2-year term seat, and no candidate may declare for both options. Each of the 4 regions will elect 4 members to be on the board. If the commission wishes to do so, you can nominate a candidate to serve in one of these seats. Staff hasn't received any communication from any member of the commission expressing interest in doing so, but should anyone wish to, they should make that clear during this discussion this evening. The commission will also need to designate a voting delegate and alternate voting delegate. Historically, our voting delegates have been the chair if the chair is planning to attend, and then another commissioner is designated as the alternate. If the chair is not planning to attend, another commissioner is typically delegated the role, and if only one commissioner is attending, then staff has been designated as the alternate voting member. The commission has typically authorized the chair to adjust these designations as needed based on changes in conference attendance. The voting delegate must be present at the regional business meeting at the conference. As of this meeting, only Commissioner Murray has expressed the staff intent to attend the conference. So should any other members plan to attend, please let staff know as soon as possible so that arrangements can be made and make sure that we get you in there.
Thank you. So thank you, Commissioner Murray, for attending. Anyone else likely to attend at this point? And we should decide this tonight, it seems like,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Commissioner Murray, do you have a
Just, sorry, interim EO. Isn't the order chair, vice chair, then anyone else on the commission? And then, staff?
Yeah, historically, that has been how we proceeded, yes.
But I think since neither one of us are planning to attend, we could say you would be the delegated with staff as the backup. That would probably be the motion we would need.
I'd make the motion. Oh, I guess we have to do public comment.
I'll do public comment on this item. No one? Okay. You make the motion if you like.
I'll move that we have Commissioner Murray, number 1, number 2, Jaren,
Okay.
our interim EO.
Second.
Okay. A motion and a second to appoint the voting delegates for the Cal LAFCo conference. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Anyone abstain? That motion carries. Next is Achievement Awards. Darren, just
Yeah,
want to walk through
and
that.
then as part of the annual conference, Cal LAFCo also hosts an award banquet. It is up to the commission if, after reviewing the awards categories, you wish to submit any nominations this year. The commission should direct staff as such so that staff can work on that. Additionally, any commissioner planning to attend this year's conference is asked to notify staff once again as soon as possible so that reservations can be made accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Any comments about this at this point? I don't think we participated in this that I can remember, but
I think vaguely remember us submitting something last year.
It was the year before. We had
Yeah.
one for, I believe, Jason, and then I think we may have done one for Sashi.
Yeah.
oh, okay, way back when, yeah. Do you need any decision out of this if there's no decision?
It would help staff to have direction on whether or not we think that there is anything that you want to pursue. Staff has no recommendation on that at this time. It's completely your decision. I don't think we need that 100% this evening, but so that we have time if you decide you want to pursue something in the very near future. Yeah.
Great. And there's a very thorough description in the packet of all the different awards
Correct.
potentially possible. So Commissioner could review that, and if they have a recommendation, reach out to Jaren. So do we need to take action? No, we don't have any action.
No. And then I just have a couple other quick Cal LAFCO updates.
Yeah, and go ahead.
So then in late June, The Cal LAFCo Legislative Committee requested letters of support for Senate Bill 1439, which included a one-year extension for Imperial LAFCo to complete a municipal service review on a struggling healthcare district down there. Per Marin LAFCo policy, the chair approved the transmission of the letter, which can be seen in your packet. And then additionally, at the end of July, the Cal LAFCo Legislative Committee agreed to change its position on SB 1312, which is the Abandoned Cemeteries Bill, due to some language that conflicts with Cortese Knox Hirschberg, CKH. Specifically, the language would allow for religious organizations to be included as an entity that can initiate a district formation or annexation proceeding before LAFCO, and CKH only allows for a public agency to do this. So we're asking for this language to be amended to simply align with the current statutes found within CKH, as our Marin LAFCo Legislative Committee has taken a position of align with Cal LAFCO. This automatically changes our position as well, so I just wanted to make that known to the full commission.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Have you looked up these bills? Remember the legislature just got back into session to see if anything's changed, because they have until August 31st to get stuff to the governor. So some stuff went on suspense and that kind of stuff. Have you been able to look up these bills?
Yeah, these are the only two items that there have been significant change amendments to that we're tracking.
Okay, so nothing new since they came back into session. Okay,
No.
thank you.
Other questions? So since we're following Cal LAFCO's recommendation, that was recommended in the previous meeting, we don't need action tonight, I don't
Correct.
believe.
Yeah, just information only.
Very good. Thank you. Anything on item 7 remaining? Okay, thank you. Item 8 is consideration of initial steps towards exploration, potential consolidation of the sanitary districts. San Rafael Sanitary District, Ross Valley Sanitary District, Sanitary District number 2, which is Corte Madera.
Yeah, so before the commission for consideration this evening is the cost sharing agreement that has been a collaborative effort between ourselves, Ross Valley Sanitary District, San Rafael Sanitation District, and Sanitary District number 2 of Marin County. The agreement lays out responsibilities for various activities, including the need for LAFCO to form a Brown Act committee to be comprised of one member from each of the 3 agencies. All costs for this committee's work, including the oversight of the committee itself, will be covered by the 3 agencies, with the agreement outlining the cost splits to be 40% Ross Valley, 40% San Rafael, and 20% SD2. Both the RVSD board and San Rafael Sanitation Board have approved the agreement. The SD2 board considered the item at their meeting last week and unfortunately decided to continue the item to their next meeting rather than approve it. That said, after some discussions following the meeting, we're hopeful that they'll be able to push this across the finish line at their next meeting the first week of September. Once the agreement is in place, LAFCO staff will oversee the newly created committee, the coordination of work with staff from the 3 agencies, as well as with the Central Marin Sanitation Agency, and the oversight of the development of a request for proposals and the subsequently selected consultant to perform the feasibility study on the possible consolidation of the agencies. Staff's recommendation for action on this item is to approve the cost sharing agreement as well as the creation of a Brown Act committee and authorize the acting executive officer to develop and issue a request for proposals for a feasibility study. And before I turn this back over to the commission for deliberation, I do just want to recognize former executive officer Jason Freed and all the work that he did getting these 3 entities to collaborate with one another to get to this point.
Okay, thank you, Darren. Questions? Commissioners? Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
I asked earlier if the rates in here were loaded rates versus apparently there's staff hourly rates. I'm just asking Mala, why don't we put in fully loaded rates?
Good.
It just seems to me like, I mean, obviously this would be a change and they would be not happy with it. But probably going forward, we ought to really think about loaded rates. That's what it costs us. So it just seems to me like we should stay with this as is right now. But for future ones, we really ought to consider that. What do you think, interim EO?
I don't have any fantastic thoughts on that. I just wanted to share that I think the former executive officer's thoughts on that were just purely basing it off of our current fee schedule.
Yeah, and it, when we do, I'm used to doing fee studies in cities, and we look at the whole ball of wax. And so obviously we'd probably have to change our fee schedule, and that maybe that's something the chair and the vice chair can discuss for
Mhm.
future, not right now. But I would just suggest that, and I know Jaren and I, since we just approved interim EO, there would have to be a change in your rates, right?
Mhm.
That's correct. Yeah.
Anyway, I think good work. I'm totally excited about this. I think this is a huge step forward for Marin County. If even doing the feasibility study is a huge step forward. So I guess we have to wait till September till Corte Madera makes their decision, right? But thank you for all the work of carrying the ball forward.
Other comments, questions? Yeah, thanks for the work. There is a part of this that, so to speak, subsidizing some of this consolidation work is in our interests. And also two of these are paying members of our organization. So I don't feel as bad. We may not be charging the full amount, but we should know what that is and have that as available as a rate that we could charge, given the situation. They're not members in particular, and we have to do the work. So I'm willing to discuss that with the vice chair and come back with something. So thank you for that suggestion. So you're looking for three things to be approved, A, B, and C. So I'm looking for a motion for all three.
What about public?
And we need to have public comment. Thank you, Barbara.
Sorry.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put a string on my finger next to me. Anyone online? No public
No hands
comment?
raised. Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking for a motion for all three items.
I'll move, sorry, I'll move item A, consider and approve cost sharing agreement among the participating districts to fund preliminary analysis and facilitation efforts with the change in the executive officer hourly rate based on what we did tonight. And B, consider and approve the formation of a Brown Act committee to support coordination, information sharing, and engagement with participating agencies. And C, authorize our executive officer to develop and issue a request for proposals.
Thank you. Looking for a second. But before I get the second question, I don't think we need to change the document because you're now the executive officer and that rate's already existing in that
No, it
document.
was his old rate.
Is that correct? I don't want to go back.
Yeah, that rate would have been based off of the former executive officer's salary in 2025. So we will need to make an edit to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we have to, is what
Okay.
I'm saying, because then everyone has to approve it again, I think, the document.
There is a reference to it being based off of the salary schedule.
Okay, okay,
So, I mean, you would be charging them more for your interim executive officer's time than, because I think it was based off of Jason's
okay.
time.
I just don't want to mess up the agreement
Yeah.
and have to go back to all three boards because we made a change. If we can make the change,
I think we could, because it's going to be less and
Okay.
it's an exhibit, I suspect the other boards might be able
be fine.
to be willing to swap
Okay.
out that because it would
Very good.
benefit them.
And Jaron, maybe you can share that information with them so
Ah.
they know what's happened.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I'm happy then. Thank you. We have a motion and we need a second then.
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it. A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Anyone abstain? Congratulations and good luck. Yeah. Executive Officer Report.
Okay. First up, a budget update. This budget update is the closeout of fiscal year 25-26 and the first month of a new fiscal year. Two line items ended up over budget for last fiscal year, with the first being staff salaries due to the required payout of compensated absences to the former executive officer upon his departure. The other line item was group health, which saw an overage due to the addition of the clerk analyst to the agency's health insurance plan partway through the fiscal year, and that addition carrying a higher than anticipated cost. Overall, we are still under budget for last fiscal year. Nothing of significance to report from this year's budget so far, other than, as is typical, income from member agencies is currently at zero, as we don't typically get a clear picture of who has remitted payment until our October meeting. Current and pending proposals, other than tonight's application, there's nothing currently in the hopper that we're looking at coming before the commission for next meeting. Bless you. There have been a couple of discussions with prospective applicants, but nothing concrete at this time. Quick update on the work plan, a couple of significant updates. You'll notice in your packet that we received the joint letter from Tiburon Fire Protection District and the city of Belvedere explaining their decision to end the feasibility study towards that annexation. And then also last week, I had the opportunity to meet with the city of San Rafael's representatives, as well as the general manager of Marinwood Community Services District regarding next steps of the process as that moves towards what they're referring as phase 2 of that possible consolidation. Phase 2 would, among other things, have San Rafael assume staffing of the Marinwood station, have Marinwood contract with the city for fire and EMS services, and offer eligible Marinwood fire personnel employment with the city of San Rafael Fire Department. Both parties are open to trying to move this forward on a fairly ambitious timeline, hoping to have their ducks in a row to be able to make this part of their planning when budget season rolls around in December and January to be baked into their budgets for next fiscal year. I'm going to be working with Mala over the next couple of weeks on this, as I'm fairly certain this falls under a section of CKH that would require a fiscal analysis that might slow things down a hair. But I've committed to both parties to have a full idea of what's going to be required of them by the end of September. All in all, very positive that both sides are at least showing the full intention of pushing this forward. Correspondences, we received a copy of the amicus brief that we joined along with 9 other LAFCos that was filed with the 6th Appellate District on July 24th. That full brief can be found in your packet for your review. And then also we received a special acknowledgement award from SDRMA for having no paid workers' comp claims. This is our 5th consecutive year in this distinction, which, while we don't believe actually gives us any sort of significant discounted rate, it does help to keep our rate at a more stable level. And then finally, just 2 things from me. I've received the annual call and my first to go and speak to this year's new civil grand jury. So I'll have the esteemed pleasure of doing that in the 2nd week of September. And then I was also reached out to by a local group known as Come to the Table, who hosts speaker sessions to Marin City to try to help better connect Marin City with the rest of the county. They requested that I come and speak about the broader processes involved in incorporation specifically. And just to be clear, just provide objective, here's what the process actually entails type of information. So I'll be going to speak at their event on the 3rd Saturday of September. So if any members of the commission have anything they want to ask about that, feel free, but that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Commissioner, questions on executive officer report? Karen, I just have one. Jason was paid out a certain amount of money, but I don't know who oversaw that, whether our accountant, how that came to be. I think it's prudent for us to make sure that that was done correctly.
Yeah.
So someone should have overseen it.
Yeah, it was Elisa that handled the full payout.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe she could do a summary for us.
Okay.
Of what that was,
Yeah.
so we all understand it. Not that I think there's anything wrong. It's
Yeah.
just that there's a number of things that were paid out and we should understand what that was.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
make sure it's reconciled in some way. So
Yeah, I can
I'm
request
glad
that.
someone else looked at it. So that was my point. So anything else?
Have a commissioner announcement.
Go ahead, commissioners announcements.
Okay, so just want to report out, the Personnel and Policy Committee met on July 28th. Commission members are Lucan, Hilliard, and I was nominated as chair. Acting EO Sybel and analyst Devereaux also attended. The sole topic was legal services, as had been requested to be evaluated at a prior commission meeting, evaluating use of county council or remain with Mala, a BBK. Costs were evaluated. It appears that the cost difference with county council would be about $2,000 less. However, consideration was discussed as extensive LAFCo legal experience with Mala at BBK would likely be much cheaper in that she can typically respond very quickly, 1 day or less, or 1 phone call, and generally does not have to conduct specialized research. Given that county council has many other competing priorities and does not have LAFCo extensive experience, the cost would likely be higher from them due to a need to conduct specialized research, and time of response would often be longer. The committee agreed unanimously that Marin LAFCo should continue using BBK services, in particular Mala as our legal counsel. I would ask my fellow commissioners if they have anything to add. Commissioner Luca, did you want to add anything? Or,
Nothing else to add. You summarized the meeting well.
and anything from alternate Commissioner Hilliard? Or
N-
Commissioner Hilliard? I
Today,
mixed up.
Commissioner,
Yeah,
right? No, that was really perfect. We felt very strongly that we're getting very good service. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. And I want to thank all of, including our staff who conducted the research. We met and had really productive discussions and everybody was heard. And so just want to thank Mala for continuing on with us.
Thanks to the committee for doing that work, and Mala, I'm glad to have you on board and keep you on board, so thank you. Anything else, any other commissioner announcements? Anything for the good of the order? If not, we're adjourned to the next meeting, October 8th, 6:30 in this room. Thank you all.